Hi everyone, my name is Kenneth Jones Vitrano and our topic for today is Chapter 17, Misfortunes in Madrid 1890 to 1891. This is the continuation of report of Jami Saglayan. So, Infidelity of Leonor Rivera. In the autumn of 1890, Rizal was feeling bitter at so many disappointments he encountered in Madrid. One night, he and, he and some friends attended a play at Teatro Apollo and there he lost his gold watch chain, with a locket containing the picture of Lino Rivera, his beloved sweetheart. So, the loss of the locket proved to be a bad omen. Early in December 1890, with the cold winds of winter sweeping across the shivering city, Rizal received a letter from Leonor announcing her coming marriage to an Englishman and asking for his forgiveness. So that Englishman is Henry Keeping. This letter was a great blow to him. He was stunned, his eyes dim with tears, and his heart broke. Several agonizing weeks passed before he could confide his best friend Blumentritt in his reply to Rizal dated February 15, 1891. Blumentritt consoled him, saying, "Your last letter filled us with sadness. After all the misfortunes that have befallen you, now your beloved has abandoned you. My wife cannot understand how a woman whom Rizal has honored with his love would be able to abandon him. He is disgusted with this girl. I myself feel it deeply, but only on your account, for I know your heart is pained, but you are one of the heroes who conquer pain from a wound inflicted by a woman, because they follow higher ends. You have a courageous heart and you are in love with a nobler woman, the motherland. Filipinas is like one of those enchanted princesses in the German legends who is a captive of a horrid dragon until she is freed by a valiant knight. So 3 months later, Blumentritt sent another comforting letter saying, "I am grieved with all my heart that you have lost the girl to whom you were engaged. But if she was able to renounce a result, she did not possess the nobility of your spirit. She is like a child who casts away a diamond to seize a pebble. In other words, she is not the woman for Rizal." So next is Rizal and Del Pilar rivalry. Toward the closing days of 1890, there arose an unfortunate rivalry between Rizal and Del Pilar for supremacy. Rizal, the most talented Filipino of his time, was until then the undisputed leader of the Filipinos in Europe. On the other hand, Del Pilar, the fearless lawyer journalist, was gaining prestige in Madrid for the vigorous editorials in La Solidaridad, which he came to own. He had purchased this fortnightly periodical from Pablo Rianzares, its first proprietor, and had replaced Graciano Lopez Sahina as its editor. As leader, Rizal tried to imbue his compatriots with his own idealism, for he believed that to gain prestige for the propaganda movement and to win the respect of the Spanish people, they must possess high standards of morality, dignity, and spirit of sacrifice. Unfortunately, his idealism was not shared by certain frivolous countrymen who love wine, women, and cards. Consequently, Rizal's leadership declined. Some of his former admirers who supported his leadership turned against him because they resented his interference in their private life. They became supporters of their Pilar. To avert the breakup between Rizal and Del Pilar, the Filipinos in Madrid, numbering about 90, met on January 1, 1891, the New Year's Day, to patch up their difference and to intensify the campaign for reform. It was decided in this meeting that a leader called responsible be chosen to direct the affairs of the Filipino community and to determine the editorial policy of La Solidaridad. Their pillar opposed the proposition that the periodical be placed under the control of the responsible on the ground that this was a private enterprise. However, he was willing to publish articles that would express the aspirations and demands of the Filipino people. Owing to Del Pilar's opposition, the proposition to place La Solidaridad under control of the responsible was abandoned. The meeting proceeded to the business of electing the responsible. It was agreed that the responsible should be elected by the two-third vote of the Filipino community. The next is Rizal abdicates his leadership. The election took place during the first week of February 1891. The Filipinos were divided into two hostile camps, the Rizalists and the Villaristas. Passion ran high, inflaming animosity and disunity in the ranks of the compatriots from every beginning. On the first day of voting, Rizal was winning, but he could not obtain the required two-thirds vote to be proclaimed responsible. On the second day of balloting, the result was again indecisive. Rizal won, but the votes cast for him did not reach the required two-thirds. The situation was become explosive and critical on the third day. Mariano Ponce appealed to his countrymen with stirring eloquence to vote for Rizal. Some Villaristas evidently heeded his plea. For the vote for the voting that day resulted in Rizal's victory. Having obtained the necessary two-thirds vote, he became the responsible. But Rizal graciously declined the coveted position. He was a man of honor and dignity, with a high sense of delicadeza, with many politicians in all countries and in all ages seldom possessed, so that he did not relish being a leader of a divided people. He knew that some of his compatriots supported Del Pilar, despised or disliked him, so he preferred to abdicate his leadership rather than be the cause of disunity and bitterness among his countrymen. Next is Adios Madrid. Rizal wrote a brief note thanking his compatriots for electing him as responsible. Sadly, he packed up his bags, paid his bills, and boarded a train leaving for Biarritz. As his train pulled out of the railway station, he gazed through its window at the city of Madrid, where he was happy during his first sojourn, 1882 to 1895, but unhappy on his second visit, 1892-91. It was the last time he saw Madrid. His agonizing heart bade goodbye to the metropolis of which he had written years ago.